Hi, Internet. Welcome to the Troyan YouTube channel. It is Thin Lizzy Thursday, and I'm sure that the vibes are very positive after last week's overwhelmingly enthusiastic reaction. So this week is the random song. I have no idea what we're listening to. Uh, we've got plenty of Thin Lizzy left on the list. We've got plenty of Black Star Riders. We haven't gotten a single Dare song. Even though we've got like a whole album of Dare on the list, we haven't gotten a single one of them. And I'm kind of hoping we do, especially after the news of Darren Warden's Renegade that we got last week. So I'm really hoping we get something with Darren Warden on it, either because we do have one song from Chinatown left. We've got a few songs from Renegade left. So I'm really hoping we get one of those. But it's probably just going to be Black Star Riders again, because that is like half the list. But yeah, we'll see what we're gonna get. Today's random music that you don't care about. We are going to be listening to "Find the Flame" by Masayoshi Soken. This track cooks. This track absolutely cooks. So this might be better than what we end up listening to. Might not be, but this is what we're going to listen to while I figure out what we're listening to. So yeah, I'm pretty sure musically that is definitely better than what we're listening to. So we are going to be listening to Black Star Riders. Why do you love your guns? Um, so based upon the title of the song, I'm expecting I will fully agree with the lyrical message of the song. I think it's going to be spot on lyrically. Like I'm expecting to be like yes, full agreement with a title like that. You already know exactly what you're getting into, which is this is taken from the perspective of like you are questioning American gun culture and saying, why do Americans love their guns so much and why do they value guns more than human life? Because that is ultimately the decision that is being made when you were saying you don't want regulations or reasonable restrictions on gun purchase and ownership, that you value the freedom to purchase a firearm more than human life. And that is just a statement. You're saying you're willing to make that sacrifice of like school shootings, mall shootings, movie theater shootings. You are accepting that. The United States is the only nation in the world where this is a problem. Every other country on the planet has solved this issue. And that is because they don't have the ease of purchase of weapons that the United States have. That's not to say that other nations don't have problems with violence. And it's not to say like, there's a difference between like a place that is like a war zone, like Ukraine or a nation with civil unrest where there's like a civil war in the country versus like a place that's supposedly like a nation of peace where this happens. This doesn't happen in Australia, doesn't happen in the UK, doesn't happen in China. Like this doesn't happen anywhere else in the world except the United States, and it's also the only place where you can get all the guns as easily. So it's like it's a clear like 1-to-1 correlation. And it's not just like, oh, we have so many more people. It's like, no, it's the laws. Like that's just it's just what it is. And so lyrically, we can just look at these lyrics. I woke up sad, the sun was shining, the coffee and lightning, the birds were singing, but I woke up sad. I woke up scared, feeling my heart beating. If seeing is believing, hope that I'm still dreaming. I woke up scared. When everything is broken, there's nothing left to fix. Doesn't matter where the bullet comes. Why do you love your guns more than your kids? Which is like, the argument of like, I remember the argument used to be that if we had more guns, then we would be safer. And then we got more guns, and then just the gun violence went up. And then they're saying, well, if we just had armed guards in schools, then, the school shootings wouldn't happen. And then they got past the armed guards. And then like, well, if we just had police officers arrive on the scene right away, then school shootings would happen. And then they still happened. So it's the guns. Like that is it. Like if you actually want to solve the problem, you have to look at the guns. That's just, you have to do it. But I think there is just an overwhelming, like, I think it's propaganda and fear is what it is about like no one like willing to just like tackle the issue, at least on one side of the political spectrum. But like you have it's the guns. It's the one outlier. Other nations have violent movies. Other nations have violent video games. Other nations have mental health problems. Other nations don't have the guns, and other nations don't have the shootings. It's what it is. I woke up lonely, time moves so slowly. I remember only the good because the bad won't forget you. I won't forget you, I woke up lonely. So this is obviously a song of mourning, taken from the perspective of someone who lost someone, probably a child, to a school shooting. Love is the only thing in this world for what it's worth. Love is the only thing in this world that doesn't hurt. I woke up early thinking that it was late. Realized no mistakes, I didn't change, I just woke up. When everything is broken, there's nothing left to fix. Doesn't matter where the bullet comes. Why do you love your guns more than your kids? Why do you love your guns, etc., etc.? So, lyrically, like, I'm fully on board with this song. I feel like anyone who is reasonable, like, if you want to make sure everyone needs a photo ID to vote, everyone should need, a photo ID to get a gun. It's like everyone, like, if you need a license to drive a car, you should have a license to buy a gun, and they should have, the same way you have to, renew your registration every year for your car, you should have to do it for a gun. It's not like a gun you're even, like, driving places with it. It's like, there's plenty of reasonable regulations that can be done on gun ownership in America. AR-15s, the normal citizen does not need an AR-15 if you're going hunting or need to protect your family. You don't need, magazines with that kind of capacity. It's dumb. It's so dumb. The rest of the world, every time like I talk with non-Americans, they're just like, your country is insane. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah, 8 minutes in, haven't even gotten to the song yet. Let's just get into the song, which I think is going to be probably kind of mediocre musically. But, yeah, lyrics are good.
I woke up sad, the sun was shining, the coffee and lightning. The birds were singing, but I woke up sad. I woke up scared, feel my heart beating. If seeing is believing, hope that I'm still dreaming. I woke up scared. Oh, I woke up scared.
actually musically, this is really good. This might be one of the best Black Star Rider songs. So I'm pleasantly surprised with that. I'm also loving the cringe comments. Oh man, there is one guy who posted a whole bunch of comments about how ignorant the liberals are. Um, you people can buy guns illegally, so the law doesn't matter. I love whenever conservatives argue that like just law, if people will break the law anyway, you shouldn't have laws be a thing. Like, why is murder even illegal? I mean, people are just going to break the law if they want to. Um, Not factoring in that like a big problem is like the distribution and availability of guns, and so if there's less guns circulating legally, there's going to be less guns circulating illegally because they won't be able to buy them. Like if you can't manufacture them to the degree, then like they can't be purchased because like you need someone to manufacture and make the guns. um, the problem is not the weapons, it's mental illness, says the same people who don't want universal health care to help cover mental illness. um, Yeah, man, like these comments are so cringe. Oh, someone's talking about thugs. Only the thugs use guns for killing. Yeah, that doesn't have a racist undertone here. Yeah, so like half the comments are like generally praising the song, and then half the comments are just like the same like awful conservative propaganda of the Second Amendment stuff, which again, for those who have watched the channel, like no, like I explained that the reason behind the Second Amendment had nothing to do with like overthrowing the U.S. government if they thought the government was becoming tyrannical. It was basically because the U.S. government was fearing of standing armies and like potential military coups. And so they wanted to not have a standing army and thought that a bunch of organized state militias was the best route, and thus was the Second Amendment. But that got, perverted in the 1970s into like the conservative propaganda, like everyone needs a gun, and then just turned into, the absolute chaos that we know today. But, oh man, oof. Man, these comments are so cringe. It's amazing. Um, yeah, but yeah, good song. I'm very pleasantly surprised with the song because I was expecting it to be like kind of cringy. If I'm going to be honest, like I was expecting the song to be cringy, but the song's actually quite good. It's a standard, like it's a decent little like power ballad, like country-ish power ballad. Um, and it is interesting that a band that took their name from like a band of like gun wielding outlaws from like a 90s western movie, because they took the name from the Black Star Riders from Tombstone, was like the inspiration for the band name. And so it's like a bunch of gun wielding outlaws are like, hey man, don't use guns.
I woke up lonely, time moves so slowly. I remember only the good, 'cause the bad won't forget you. I won't forget you. I woke up lonely. When everything is broken, there's nothing left to fix. Don't matter where the bullet goes. Why do you love your guns more than your kids? Love is the only thing in this world, for what it's worth. Love is the only thing in this world that doesn't hurt.
that's a great solo. So I think the chorus to the song is kind of weak. It's not necessarily a great chorus, but you know what? I think Phil would think this is cool. I think this would get the Phil stamp of approval because like Phil, he was very famously a leftist. Like he dude was a socialist. So he would have been on the left side of this issue and would have been like, yeah, it's absolutely crazy that Americans just care more about, being able to buy as many guns as you want than like reasonable safety protections for their citizens. And for the conservatives in the audience who are just saying like, I'm maybe like straw man in their position or whatever. If more guns has been shown like clearly to not work, like because we tried that, idea, and it's shown that like that does not work. What is your proposed solution to this problem? Is it universal health care for people so that everyone can access a therapist if they want? Like, is that the solution? Do we give every single American citizen health care, regardless of income, in order to make sure that anyone who might be having a mental health crisis can then get the help that they need? Because I hear people say it's a mental health issue, but take the state of Texas, for example. The same Governor Abbott of Texas, the Republican governor of Texas, said that it's a mental health issue and that we need to not focus on the guns. And then he cut $50 million from like mental health services from the Texas budget. So you're going to cut the mental health services and say it's a mental health problem and then not do anything about the guns. It feels like you're just lying. And if there's a conservative in my audience who can explain how cutting mental health funding and not doing anything about the guns is going to lead to a solution, explain that to me. Explain it to me like I'm in kindergarten. I'm being facetious because you can't because they're lying. That's just what it is. That's like, come on. Yeah, it is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it's absolutely absurd. But again, the song is good. I think the solo was quite good. I think the message is actually brave for quite frankly a what we would call a dad rock band, because demographically this appeals to like boomers and Gen Xers, a band like Black Star Riders, because they're a band that's continuing the legacy of Thin Lizzy. So their target audience is boomers and Gen Xers. And most generations get more conservative as they grow older. And so taking a like hard leftist stance on the issue of guns is going to alienate a lot of their fans, even people who are fans of Thin Lizzy and Phil's like, flat out socialist lyrical themes. Like, this will alienate a lot of people because they're taking a stand, and it's not like a wishy-washy stand. They're saying, no, we are firmly on this side of the issue. And they just did it, and that's the kind of thing that Phil would firmly take a stand on one side of the issue. Like with Gay Boys, he was firmly on the pro LGBT side of the issue. Like, he firmly took a stand, and so this is the band firmly taking a stand on the left side like Phil would. So it's, I applaud them for that bravery, because the general trajectory of the boomer and Gen Xers is like, as they got older, they went more conservative, which interesting. I was actually talking with a Dream Sketcher about this. Is that interestingly, millennials are the one generation who we're bucking that historical trend. So not only can millennials, not buy homes, millennials also are getting more leftist as they get older. And then Gen Z is even further left than millennials, and are actually influencing millennials to go even further to the left because of like the income disparity. So interesting that like, millennials are actually reversing that trend where they're becoming more liberal as they get older, more leftist. So it's an interesting societal trend. I think it's mainly because we've gone so far right and so far conservative that like the pendulum has to swing the other way, where like if you're a student of history, I know I'm talking a lot in this reaction, but there's actually a lot to say here. if you're a student of history, you'll realize we're basically like on repeat of what happened like 100 years ago in like the Gilded Age. We're basically just doing that exact same thing again. Where like the income inequality is the same as the Gilded Age. Like that time where, if we don't know, for those who don't know what the Gilded Age refers to, it refers to a period in American history where like it looked like, the economy was awesome because like there was a bunch of rich people and a bunch of people making tons of money, but the problem was it was like a facade because underneath it were like, the worst like poverty conditions the country had ever seen. And the income disparity is actually worse than in the Gilded Age. It's actually gotten worse. Um, just to explain like how like crazy it's getting in the United States. The United States in a bunch of states are reversing child labor laws. So like kids like 12 years old can go work in meat packing factories and whatever, and like work with dangerous bone saws. And then they're also passing laws where the kids aren't allowed to sue if they get injured at work. So that's happening in Republican states. Meanwhile, in Democratic states, the Democrats who supposedly, don't care about kids at all are giving free school lunch to like every kid, regardless of income. So we've got Republicans, the party who cares about the kids, allowing them to work in meat factories and get their limbs cut off. And then the Democrats are like, what if we gave kids food? Which party cares more about the children? I don't know. It's a toss up, man. It is a toss up. I really can't figure it out. If you can figure out which one cares more about the kids, let me know in the comments below.
I woke up early, thinking it was late. Realized all my mistakes. I didn't change, I just woke up. Oh, I just woke up. When everything is broken, there's nothing left to fix. Don't matter where the bullet goes. Why do you love your guns more than your kids? Why do you love your guns?
All right, and I got one more thing because I know there's going to be. I'm going to preemptively say it before someone in the comments is like, "What about the gun violence in blue cities, like Chicago, the famous example? Why is there so much gun violence in Chicago if they have all these restrictions on guns?" And I say to you this. Indiana is like 20 minutes away where there's no restrictions on gun purchases. Where do the people in Chicago get guns if you can't buy a gun in Chicago? If you can drive 20 minutes away and buy a gun with no issue, gee, I wonder where you could have gotten the gun. So that's why you need strong national laws, because the regional thing doesn't work if you can just drive 20 minutes over there and get it. So for the people who are saying like, oh, but blue cities, like, yeah, if you can drive 20 minutes like to buy one legally, it's not going to be an issue. So, all right, sorry.
When everything is broken, there's nothing left to fix. Don't matter where the bullet comes. Why do you love your guns more than your kids? Love is the only thing in this world.
Yeah, good job, Blackstar Rogers. That is a song to be proud of. I wish there was a better chorus hook, but overall, yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I'm not happy that a song like that needs to exist. Um, I'm not happy with the fact that we're like unable to take strong action towards this because one party like refuses to compromise like in the slightest on the issue. Um, Like it's just there's a spectrum to like what is allowed. Like should we get rid of every single gun in the United States? That's I would say unreasonable, and especially because like a lot of people actually use guns for hunting, and that is how they feed their families in more rural areas. Like they actually like need that for survival, because that is a cheaper way to obtain meat than to like regularly purchase it at a store where they might live in like a food desert. So like realistically, like a gun is a tool for survival, for providing for one's family, for defending one's family. Like I understand the reasonableness of that. However, if you look at like when AR-15s used to be banned, we had way less mass shootings, and then when they became unbanned, the mass shootings skyrocketed, and most of them were done with AR-15s. I'm just like, gee, I wonder how this could have happened. It's like, oh, it's the thing. So I think that the conservative position is just like uncompromised, and you can't allow for any restrictions whatsoever. And then like the moderate position is like, no, you need some, because what we're doing isn't working. So if we do like free universal health coverage and give everyone access to full mental health services, and then the gun issue still isn't solved, then yeah, it might be time to actually do something. But honestly, we should just do both. Give everyone free universal coverage. Just there's a number of ways you can pay for that without increasing taxes on the middle class. A very easy one is like you can just raise the cap on Social Security taxes. There's for higher income earners where they stop paying Social Security taxes once they reach a certain income threshold. So like they pay less. It's stupid in terms of percentages. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. The point is, the song is good, and now we rank it. Ah, man, so much to say on this song. Okay, so last week I ranked Shalala as S rank. Sorry, as A rank because of its this really great musically, and so this song is pretty good musically, and then lyrically, I'm hard agreeing with the message. It's not necessarily a deeply profound way of addressing the message, but I mean, it is a brave message to do for a band like Black Star Riders. So, how high do I put this? All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're moving Soldier Fortune up to S rank. Simply so we can put Why Do You Love Your Guns in S rank. It is actually, yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're moving all these up to S rank. Yep. Just because I think lyrically I am just so hard in agreement of this that I'm moving up to S rank. So there we go. We have the best Black Star Rider song is this one. It's the best one, and I will accept no arguments. Comment section gonna be fun.